Beautiful. We are counting down. Are we ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Welcome, everyone. Glorious and very happy to have you with us again on Talk with the Missus.
Yeah, that's it. That's the show to tune into.
Yeah.
Transforming lives, actually, and, blessing so many marriages across the globe. Literally, in this month of January, as I've traveled to minister in different places. I have been in Africa, been here in Europe, and also to North America to minister. I've come across a number of people who, literally tune into this program. And they're really just happy, and they feel really blessed by the Talk with the Missus. So it's nice to have you all tuned in today on the Talk with the Missus show. And as usual, we'd like to encourage you to share the show on your page. My wife would usually say not to do a host party. Maybe you want to explain why?
Yes, because a host party, if you do a host party, is it
During
called
the
a host
live
party?
show.
Is it called a host party?
Isn't it? Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you do that, a host party, then we will not be able to
watch party.
A watch party.
Yeah, watch party it is. Yeah.
If you do a watch party, then we won't be able to see the comments or be able to respond. And if you have a question that came from that thread of the watch party, we won't be able to see it live. So that's why we encourage to just share it instead of doing the watch party. And then we'll be able to get all the communications and all the questions and so forth that comes from that thread. Once the broadcast is finished, feel free. You can do a watch party 100 times if you want. We're so happy. But for today, right now, let's do.
So basically, when it's live, when we are live, it's best to just share to your Facebook page.
Yes, please.
But then when the show is finished, at that time you can, do a watch party.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And we're live on YouTube as well. And I've got some lovely people here. I've got Pussy Print. Yay, my favorite couple. Bless you both. Tuning in on the bus on the way home from work.
Wow.
From Sister Janice. God bless you. And Chitru, I have. Hi, it's Chitru from Essex. Hello, Chitru and all of Essex.
Beautiful.
God bless you.
Well, we've got a number of people on Facebook who are joining in. We've got, of course, Aisha, Jennifer, Moya, Ro, Sitabile, Shava, I believe that's Star. I've got quite, it tells me a number of people are watching, but I can't see who. Some of the, I can only see those three names. So in case you're watching, can you just give me a comment on Facebook and just basically, your name and where you're watching from. All right, great. I can see Roslyn Shaba is watching. Give me your name and where you're watching from. I can see Anita Ofigo is watching.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? And please, all of you who are watching, can you do us a favor and share this on your page? We want to reach as many people as possible. And give us a comment, just, your name that you're watching and where you are watching from. We know that people join into this show from different parts of the world. So, it'd be nice to know where people are watching from. Names and the city and possibly the nation where you are watching from. I'd like to welcome Brother Amos Okoro into the show. I can see Amos is watching from Manchester. Hi, Manchester. Hello. And all the people there. I can see Solomon Odigie is watching. It'd be nice if you can tell us where you're watching from. And all others. I see a lot of people who are joining in the thread. watching. I'm not able to see all the names of those watching. So, but if you put a comment by giving me your name and where you're watching from, then obviously I want to be able to acknowledge all those who are watching. And keep sharing. Share it on your page so we can reach many more people. This program is blessing lives across the globe, and I mean literally across the globe. I know we're just still in the first month of the year, but for someone who is into the evangelistic like myself, who's had to travel thousands of miles across the globe to preach in different meetings and different conferences, I've run into people just this year alone, so many of them who, say, oh, I watch your program. I follow the Talk with the Missus. This program is blessing me. So let me know where you're watching from. There's Kim Aris Mendez. I hope I pronounced that name well. Please tell us where you're watching from. That's Kim.
Okay.
Aris Mendez.
I love that surname.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Where's that surname from, Kim? I love it.
Let us know. And we have Hasley Lottie. Did I pronounce that well? Yeah. Hasley Lottie. Also, tell us where you are watching from. We've got CV, who is also watching. So today, whilst we have people joining in and telling us where they're watching from, we are going to be discussing a very important topic. And it is the value of communication in marriage.
Yeah, before I do, sorry, just got my YouTubers that are there as well. So we have Kende from Nigeria. God bless you, Kende.
Beautiful.
And he said he's expectant tonight. So I like your hunger.
Wow,
I
that's
like
good.
your excitement. I believe God will indeed fill your thirst.
Amen.
And we also have Rani from all the way from St. Lucia, sunny St. Lucia. Rani.
You have a good weather there. We're in the cold here in London.
Yes.
You can imagine myself, who just came back from Florida 2 days ago from the sun and in the cold. So St. Lucia, hi to everyone in St. Lucia.
St. Lucia.
Kim is actually in New Orleans in Louisiana.
New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans in Louisiana, all the way in the U.S.
Lovely.
Hasley Lottie is watching from Maryland. In the U.S. as well. So guys, tell us where you are watching from, and we're glad that we have people from Europe, from Africa, from North America, and from the Caribbean islands that are watching. So we are, we're touching a number of continents. I think the only place we have not seen now on today's show is Asia. So let's share it on our pages and let's get the people in Asia to join in. Although some of them will be sleeping now, though, because of the time difference.
There's some night people.
There's some night people. Exactly. Who they are awake. It's true.
Some early morning people.
This Favored Loved is tuning from California.
Wow.
Beautiful. All the people in California. So the value of communication in marriage is what we want to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that, there are just some people, or there are just some couples, and I've met a few, who don't talk with each other. I mean, when you say they don't talk, it doesn't mean they don't say hi or hello, good morning. I'm not talking about that, but just having conversations and just they don't. And so what's your take on that in a marriage, and how does that impact on a marriage when you have a couple that don't really communicate?
I think it's a very dangerous place to be in. Being a couple that not communicating in the way that you should. I mean, Bible clearly tells us we should both be naked and not ashamed. So whatever it is that I want to talk to you about, or you want to talk to me about, I should be able to hear it. Whether it's a good thing, whether it's not such a good thing, whatever it is. But having that somebody that you can communicate with and talk with, so that you can have a check on even your own mind or your own thinking or your own idea or your own vision or your own dream. Somebody to at least help, even if it's to agree or if it's to enhance it, maybe by adding a suggestion. Oh, did you think of it this way or that way? You can't do everything by yourself. You'd literally be having a headache, thinking everything through yourself. And then maybe even some people talk. Maybe some people do talk, but they don't talk to their spouse. That as well is a dangerous thing. So you now have a friend that knows more about your home or your life plans more than your spouse. That's very, very dangerous. I think that's leading on some grounds that are not healthy to build a sustainable and a healthy and looking for words, but it's not good. You're not going to be able to build a home that the two of you can be free and happy in, because somebody else knowing more about your home than that person is not good. It's not healthy.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to add to what you're saying, but just to welcome a few more people are joining. We have T Mazamizing, says watching from Enfield, Middlesex, and that's in London. Hi, T Mazamizing. We have Beta, Emmanuel. We have, please tell us where you're watching from. We have Tassel, I think this is Crystal, Elaine. Please tell us where you're watching from. We'd like to know. We have Anita Dudu Ofigo watching from South London. So we're talking about the value of communication. And you have said, you know, there's something I picked from what you said, which I'm going to highlight. But I want to begin by saying, you know, listening to what you've said, it sounds to me that communication is the foundation of every marriage. Communication is the foundation, not just marriage, it's the foundation of every relationship. So whether that relationship be just a friendship relation, can you imagine you have a friend and you both don't communicate? Before long, that friendship will die. So communication is not just the foundation of a relationship. It is, I think it'd probably be right to also say it is the fuel for every kind of relationship. If you want a relationship to work, then the people must be given to start the relationship. You need communication. To sustain the relationship, you need communication also. So, I mean, you went to the lady to say, hello, beautiful. You needed to do that to start the relationship.
You didn't do that to start our relationship.
Well, no, but we talked. Weren't we talking? I didn't say I didn't start our relationship with the exact word, hello, beautiful. No, but we talked. We talked.
We talked.
We talked a lot, and we keep talking.
We literally talk. You know, anyway, early days relationships, you talk to the point that it's like 4 a.m. in the morning. You're like, oh, you've got work the next day.
Still talking on the phone.
Time for you to
falling
go
asleep and talking on the phone.
Like, no, I'll be fine. And then go to sleep. No, I'll be fine. I'm sure. You sure? Yeah. I'll just need like 2 hours or something. I'll be fine. Before you know it, it's like 6 a.m. Oh, I think I really should go to bed. And then you wake up, go to sleep for like 2 hours and wake up at 8. So you valued the communication in those early stages, and most times it's the same. Even if it's not like these days, I don't know if it's like an Instagram thing or DM this or that, but that's still a level of communication.
Yeah, no, but I think that even with DM and Instagram and all of that, I think people still talk.
Yeah,
people. Yeah, I think people still do talk. If somebody that you are in a relationship with, that is probably a marital relationship or a relationship that is leading up to marriage. I don't think just Instagramming or WhatsApp. No, it's a conversation. There's something about hearing the person's voice that's different from just, you know, a text message. There are a lot of people joining in. Let me mention where they. We have Tassel is watching from Plantation in Florida. Great, all you people in Florida. Beta from South London. We have Joanne from Vienna.
Hi, Joanne.
We have Patricia from Gateshead. What's that? Gateshead, is that in the UK or in the US? Can you tell us?
Is that Gateshead?
Or Gateshead, yeah.
Gateshead, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm calling it
okay.
shit. Yeah, Gateshead, yeah, in the UK. Yeah. So, you know, I think that communication is the foundation, is what kicks off every kind of relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And communication also is the fuel for the relationship. So where you have a couple that most times, well, most of the complaints I have heard is many a time is the man who doesn't really want to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. It appears that the women are not all the time, because a few cases, but majority, the women want to talk, but the man doesn't want to talk. Maybe you get answers like, oh, we have nothing to talk about. Well, everything is fine. You know, we don't have problem in our marriage. It's okay. It's all in your head. Well, if it's in my head, the more reason we should talk about it, because if you think that it's in my head, you should love me enough to want to know what is in my head and how it is impacting on me, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think that all of these things comes into play. So how do you then deal with a couple or a partner, a husband or a wife that really don't want to talk? They're there physically, but they don't want to have conversations about things generally. It doesn't have to be bad things.
Yeah.
How?
I mean, the thing is that you entered into, because we're talking about a marital relationship, you entered into this marriage, and you know, there's a popular saying, the way you make your bed is how you're going to lie on it.
Yeah.
So if you're consistently not wanting to talk with your spouse, it will get to a stage that even the atmosphere that you're breeding, because that in itself breeds an atmosphere, you will not like it.
Yeah.
It'll be very contentious. It'll be very tight. You know, you just need to understand that what I'm doing, everything we do has an effect, and it has a consequence. So if I continue to be in this way, even if it's out of my own comfort zone, then it's not going to be helpful. But if I now purposefully, sometimes you have to be intentional to talk and just to strike conversation. The same way, like if you're in your office and you have a colleague, you don't really want to talk to the colleague. You know, you're going for coffee break or whatever. You don't really want to say hello, but to be polite and, you know, you strike a conversation about anything.
Yeah, you just bring up something to talk about. Exactly.
Literally anything.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see the news last night? Anything.
Yeah.
Just to, you know, strike a conversation. Before you know it, the one conversation will lead to another, and then before you know it, you become friendly. So I don't understand why, if you can now do that outside to strangers, why can't you do it to the love of your life, the person that you marched down the aisle and said, oh, I do, for better, for worse, and for sickness and in poorer and riches and everything, sickness and health? Why can't you just talk to them? Open your mouth and talk. It's not hard. It's not. Just talk. Just talk. You know, it helps. It helps you. It helps your family. The things that sometimes I think we have to be, like I said, intentional to be able to set the tone in certain things. Setting the tone in your home, setting the tone even for your future generations.
That's true.
Because if you have children, God bless you with children in the home, they're picking up on things that you don't even realize they're picking up on. How does my mum talk to my dad? How does my dad talk to my mum? They're gonna replicate that when they go to their own homes and be mums and dads. So being intentional has a very vital, benefit that doesn't just last for your today, but it even lasts for the generations to come after you through your children. And that's all because your children have been modeling what they've seen you do with mum and dad. Like so many times when I'm at home, even like when you're not there and stuff. So I'll say to the children, when the children are saying something, maybe they're shouting, because like I said, I've said it a few times before, but God has arrested me on on the harshness, because I read a scripture recently about the ostrich, how she's basically a careless mother and stuff. So I was like, hey God, you're talking to me. So anyway, I'm sidetracking, but I've basically, you know,
it's
helped.
good that the scripture spoke to you.
Yes, of course,
Yeah,
it had to
because I
speak to
told
me.
you.
If it didn't speak to me, then
Because
I don't know what.
I was speaking to you about it. You need to calm down sometimes, the way you talk at these children. But
Yeah.
thank
So
God,
God,
the words of the scripture is more powerful.
Well, so it has to be. It's
Yeah,
life.
it has to be. That's
it's powerful.
true.
It's life.
Yeah.
It's sharper than two-edged swords. So
Yeah.
we could go on and on about how powerful the word of God is. But
Yeah, but you're giving.
yeah. So basically, I was saying to the children, one of them was shouting at the other or doing something, and I said, "Look, stop all this. Do you see mommy shouting at daddy? No. Do you see daddy shouting at mommy? No. So how do you think you're going to be doing this to your brother or to your sister? Don't you know that whatever you're doing now to your siblings is what you're going to be doing in your own home? Because even the relationship of for them to manage sibling relationship helps them to be able to manage their own home relationship when they get married. So all these things, it has a knock-on effect. So communication is crucial, is vital. If you want a home that is joyful, that is free, that is loving, that you are excited to run home to at the end of a hard day of work, then please communicate.
That's great. That's great. No, I agree 100%. And please, all of you are watching, tell us where you're watching from. We like to know where you're watching from. So just give us a comment on where you're watching from. We have people from different parts of the world who are tuning in. You know, I like what you said. I was just thinking while you were talking that, you know, when someone goes to the doctor and they say, you know, they're not feeling well, the doctor will start looking for certain signs. Yeah. You know, and when they check, maybe the temperature is high or one thing or the other, then they use those to diagnose the issue. Yeah. Won't you agree that the lack of communication in a relationship is an indication that there is a problem in that relationship?
The lack of communication.
Yeah, the lack of communication. You know, is that not a it's like if someone has malaria, for instance, they would have temperature, their temperature will be high, they'll be shivering. So the lack of, if a relationship is not healthy, the lack of communication, I feel, is one of the signs, that, you know, there's problem in the relationship. So it is important, therefore, that you have communication. Like my wife was saying, just be intentional. You know, you can sit down and say, oh, but we have nothing to talk about. Look for something to talk about. Just think of something to talk about, because this is the person that you love. You have people who, you know, God forbid that you have that. They lose somebody and they say, oh, you know, I wish I talked to them more. I wish I knew what they were going through. So talking with your spouse is essential. You have to be deliberate to talk with your husband, to talk with your wife. Spend the evening talking with each other. Cut out some of those things that eats up your talk time. If you have nothing to talk about their hair. Talk about their clothes. Talk about their makeup.
Good things, by the way.
Yeah, good things. No, not bad. No, not being critical. Not being critical. It's like I said, you know, when you started, something you said I wanted to highlight, you know, that I think there's a difference between talking to and talking with. And I think that for a couple, it should be more of talking with your spouse than talking to. Because when you have the situation, oh, this one, I'm going to talk to her today, or I'm going to talk to him. By the time I finish talking with him, you know, you will only create problem and create issues. So it should really be talk. And everybody, even the most reserved person, is an introvert, the most introverted individual, still can talk. You find out that, because I've had people that I've related with who are introverts that they don't really talk, but as they get to know you, discover they can actually have conversations and enjoy and laugh and all that. It's just that they don't do it with everybody. So even if you are an introvert, this is your wife or this is your husband, this is the person you live with, it should be the closest person to you. You should have communication with them. You should have talk time. And not just, blank them or not have conversations. And I mean, also, it's like we are both married. There are things you can spot in our marriage that you think this is not good, that I may not be saying. So if you were to come to me and say, oh, babes, there's something we need to talk about. So what's the advice? It says about marriage, there are some things that we need. And I said, no, there's nothing wrong with our marriage. Everything is fine. And I'm just dismissing you because in my own head, I cannot see the problem.
There's nothing there.
There's nothing there. I'm not being fair. I should actually listen to what you have to say and not just dismiss it. Because if it's not a problem to me, but it's a problem to you, if I just...
Then it's a problem to us.
Exactly. Then it's a problem to us because we have both become one. If I just dismiss it as, oh, you just make up things. I don't know what's going on in your head. You're overthinking.
Why are you always not happy?
Why are you always not happy? Blah, 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 blah. And I just dismiss it. By the time that thing start eating into you...
And the way the devil works, he will magnify it.
Exactly.
Every small thing you say, oh, it's this thing that I was wanting to tell them, or I'm telling them, and they're not listening to me. It's this same thing. He's doing it again. She's doing it again. It will just magnify it in ways that are not even real. But in your eyes, because it hasn't been discussed, and it's heavy on your heart,
it'll just be growing.
Is about that.
Exactly. Everything will be about that. So someone's asking a question, Betta. She's saying, what do you do when communication with your spouse is more like wrestling than dancing? That's a good way to put it.
Nice,
it's more like wrestling. I think that's the issue of
talking to,
with. And talking with. It should be, no matter how good or how bad things are, a couple should be able to talk about them. I mean, you should be able to have difficult conversations without actually resulting in a quarrel. You should be able to talk about serious stuff without it resulting in a quarrel. You gave an instance just now of even in our places of work, where you're working with people that you don't really want to talk to. Sometimes there are difficult things to talk about, even in the office place. You talk about them and it doesn't end up in quarrel or blows and people punching each other. No. So for a couple, you should have that level of control within you to be able to have that that conversation. So
I think as well, pick a time where it's a more good. It's a better time. It's not a tense time. There's times that you can pick to talk to somebody that they would listen.
They're not really reasonable time to have that conversation.
So pick an appropriate time that you know that at least they will be able to listen. Choose your words as well. Don't just be talking disrespectful.
It shouldn't be careless words and just talking the person down.
Words them down.
Words you will not use for people outside. Some women use words for their husband that they will never use for any man outside. Some men also use words on their wives that they will not use on a woman outside. So everybody outside say, oh, this guy is very cautious. He's very nice with his words. And the wife is there thinking, really? Or the husband is, oh, this is your wife. Very cautious, speaks respectful. And the man is thinking, really? So all those are pretentious behavior.
Fake.
Fake. People living fake lives. The one person you should be real with that you should even be more, I mean, you should be real to everybody. Yeah. But the one person you should even be more real to, you're not.
Yeah. Your spouse is that, I keep on saying it, be naked and not ashamed.
Yeah.
You know, there's a way that you would speak to your spouse that is honorable and not rude. You know, to the point that the Bible clearly, I mean, over and over again in Proverbs, where God is saying, well, Solomon in the Proverbs, he's saying that it's better for a man to stand at the rooftop of a leaking roof. Leaking. Do you imagine being somewhere and something is leaking on your head permanently?
Yeah.
But in fact, I like it. Let it continue leaking. I like it. Compared to a woman that will just be nagging. That nagging is in different things.
Yeah.
Talking, you know, in a way that is so rude, so disrespectful, and all the rest of it. It's not good.
And if we go back to the father, we said communication is the foundation of every relationship.
Yeah.
Then, if you're talking that way, you are actually destroying the foundation.
It has to be positive.
Yes, you are destroying the foundation of your relationship. Sylvia said, set up a time to go out from the home environment and go to a restaurant or go for coffee. You will have to talk. Well, some people go to those restaurants with the advent of smartphones these days. No, it's true. It's true. Smartphones is a problem to many people.
Yeah.
You could see people on a dinner table and they are still busy with their phones.
I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty. Like I'll just, let me just check this thing. Or you see all these notifications, ping, 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 every second. Even though it's on silent, but the light, you know, you see the light just, and your eye automatic, it's an automatic reaction.
Yeah.
I think maybe we have to literally turn the phone off.
Yes, turn it off or put it on flight mode. Even though you're not on a plane, put it on flight mode. It's true, because you're on a communication flight with your spouse at that moment.
I'm on a communication flight.
Yeah, put the status, I'm on a communication flight with my spouse.
That's it. That's nice.
It's true. Yeah. And put on flight mode.
Yeah.
Nothing bad is going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, because some of these things are eating up communication. We have Onos Joy watching from Nigeria. We have Habi Ahmed, who said, so true. We have Kim, who is watching, I think, from Louisiana, if I remember correctly. She said, back to work. Great topic for discussion, and is much needed for every couple and marriage. Star said, I agree. Lack of communication is an indicator of a greater problem in the relationship, which is true. It's like a... It's like a sign. Like you go to a doctor and the sign they look for certain kind of ill health. Symptom, that's the right word.
Yeah.
We have a favored, loved, who have said, I also believe that one's partner growing up in a home where communication was not encouraged or nurtured will find it very difficult to communicate with their spouses once they are married. How can one deal with such spouse? Please advise.
I think, like I said, it's being intentional, because you can grow up in a home where everything about that home is terrible. Doesn't mean that you now have to continue the legacy of that home to now have a terrible home. You can just intentionally say, do you know what? I noticed that this wasn't quite good. I'm going to make sure that I make this better. This aspect cannot repeat itself in my home. You know, I think sometimes a lot of these things are, we make excuses, or we find reasons for our inadequacies. But really, we should just take responsibility and say, you know what, this thing cannot continue. It stops here, and I'm going to make a difference, and I'm going to change it. We just have to take responsibility, to be honest, and just make that change.
Yeah, I agree that, you know, we should take responsibility. The fact that there was a failure in the home that you grew up in does not mean you should continue the legacy of that failure. Do not continue the legacy of the failure that existed in the home that you grew up in. For example, you grew up in a poor home. It is not your desire that you will continue the legacy of poverty, isn't it? Or you grew up in a home where people were not educated. You want to run on a path where you can be educated. In the same vein, you grew up in a home where communication was zero, was not encouraged. people were probably shut down, and that happens.
Yeah.
You know, there are homes where, you know, even children wants to say something, they are just shut down. Whoosh, whoosh. Who are you to speak when the adults are talking? And so communication is not encouraged. They can see the father chat with other men who come to visit. Yeah. But they never see such communication between the father and the mother or the children and all of that.
Your children need to see you laugh.
Yes.
You know, they can't see everything. Every time
Yeah.
mommy and daddy are together, it's serious.
Serious and tough. They can't see any play. There's no play time.
Yeah. They see.
The children don't see you playing with their mother
Yeah.
or playing with their father or playing with them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you even take them for football or for bicycle riding. You are still there like an instructor.
Put your leg like this. Oh, come on.
You know,
so do you want to go bicycle riding with me again? No.
Because there's no play time. So that needs to be encouraged.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that those are environments we need to create in our homes.
Yeah.
We need to be deliberate. We need to be intentional about creating environments in our homes where everybody can talk. And it is very dangerous when that doesn't happen, because you have a daughter, you have a son, especially in the world we are living in now. If there's no environment within your home that encourages talking, where mommy can talk and daddy can talk and the children can talk and just have conversations, talk about the problems in the home, talk about the victories, talk about how each person's day went and all of that. If you don't have that, you have no way of knowing what is going on in the life of the people within your home. And that in itself is dangerous. So people need to rise above those things, and, you know, where you have more communication with television than you have with your spouse. Either communication with, you know, the news because you watch news upon news, or you know all the documentaries, or all the TV shows, or the reality shows and all of that, but you don't know the reality of what is happening in the life of your spouse or in your home.
Where they're at, the challenges they're having at work, so the struggles.
I mean, like you said,
concerns.
just talk. It's not, you don't pay rent or pay a fee. Yeah. You pay a fee to watch that TV. You pay for electricity and all of that. You don't pay. Talking is free. So just have a conversation. And, you know, the more you do it, the more you get used to it. Because you could be there and say, oh, what's there to talk about? There's everything to talk about. You know, and God put those people around you so you can have conversations. Yeah. I've got some more comments here. Tasset said, oh, I love this. Moya said, wonderful. Joanne said, it's a red light. You need to take a moment and go back to the drawing board. So she's basically saying, when communication is lacking in a home, it's a red light. And for that, you need to take a moment, go back, and go to the drawing board. Okay, I've got Tenji. She said, I agree, but sometimes that person takes on victim mentality, which becomes a comfort blanket, and they do not want to change because it forces them to be responsible. Yeah, she's talking about when you grow up in a home where communication was not encouraged. Some people then take on such a victim mentality, and, you know, it becomes like a comfort blanket.
I think we just have to make it
where they just now use it as an excuse. Oh, you know, the home where I grew up, we were not really having conversations. I'm not really used to this. I mean, you were not used to marriage, but you are married now. It's true. It's true.
You're not used to being a woman, but you're a woman now.
You're a woman now.
You're not used to being a man,
but you're a man now. You used to be a boy. Grow up. So she's put there, she said, man up. Man up. Man up topic, I think. Communication. Yeah. So, no, I think communication is key, is very important. I think that the reason there are a lot of problems in certain marriages and they get to a difficult point before people even get to know about them is the lack of communication.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't know how far you'll be able to go together as one when you don't communicate. Because when you do communicate, you know, iron sharpens iron. So if I'm bringing in something and he's bringing in something, and then we bring it in together on the same issue, and it now helps. Before you know it, it's blossoming. We're able to achieve much more because there's a level of agreement. The fundamental issue, again, that we have to realize as Christians is that the devil is real. God is real, 100%, but the devil also is real in the sense that he is so much into removing togetherness and obstructing agreement and making sure that the supernatural realms that are available to couples when they are in agreement, he's fighting hard to not achieve that. So if I know that one will chase 1,000 and two will chase tens of thousands, and I know that it's how beloved, how beautiful and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together. It's like the oil that runs from Aaron's beard and so forth, and it's there that the Lord commands the blessing. If I know that coming together as one, how can two walk together unless they agree? If I know coming together as one with my husband brings that agreement, brings heaven's a release of blessing, brings heaven ability to chase more than what my own capacity can do on a supernatural level, then I will 100%, no matter what I need to do to be able to get this agreement and get this communication going, I'm going to do it. Because I need our marriage to be on a different level. You have to make that decision.
Yeah.
Your pride and all those kind of things.
Drop it. Yeah, exactly.
There's no need for it.
And
I'm trying to get somewhere with you.
Yeah.
You're trying to get somewhere with me. Even if I don't want the person, I don't want to communicate on something, you're still gonna get to wherever you are with that person.
Yeah.
So why not get there well?
Yeah.
Why not get there beautifully? Why not get there in a place that you be happy and relaxed and you can have your children around you, you know, your quiver is full and you're happy, you're joyful and all the rest of it. Why get to that same, you're still gonna get somewhere. But why get somewhere and you're just angry, sad, every frustrated,
and people and
working.
Others don't know how
nothing is working.
You got there. You know, I think it's a problem. I think there's a few things I want to kind of highlight.
Yeah.
One, I think people should know that if you are not talking with your spouse, somebody is talking with them.
Yeah, that's another problem.
Yeah. If you are not communicating with your spouse, somebody is talking with them. God helps you also if that person talking with them is not just a human being, it's the devil.
Yeah.
Because if you're not talking to your spouse, the devil could be talking to them.
Yeah.
That's the truth. The devil could be talking to their mind. And so God help you, God help your marriage if the devil is the one now talking to them. Yeah. Or it could even be a human being talking to them, but you don't know who that human being is and what they are saying to them. Before long, you will find that this person is, for lack of word, growing in relationship with that person that is talking to them and growing out of relationship with you. Because like I said, communication is the fuel for every marriage. So you have to be intentional in communicating with your spouse. Again, if you ask, what is there to talk about? I think that in a home, there is a lot to talk about.
Not always just the serious stuff.
Yeah.
The serious stuff.
No, but there are not
always just
not always just the serious stuff, but there's more than in. Even if you are say, okay, you know,
money.
I don't have time for jokes. You know, if it's not serious, I won't talk. There are a lot of serious things to talk about.
Yeah, if it is,
yeah. So if you are somebody who say, no, I don't have time to waste, you know, I want to discuss serious stuff, talk about serious stuff. For instance, there are some couples that don't have conversations about their finances.
Yeah.
They don't discuss their money. So you could have a situation where the man does not know what the wife earns. The wife does not know what the husband earns. Yeah. And You know, they just say, well, you earn your money, I earn my money. It's not your business how I spend my money. It's not my business how you spend your money. You pay for these things, I pay for these things, blah, blah, blah. But it shouldn't work that way.
So
I think
they divvy out the bills, not even realizing if the person can afford
it or not. Exactly, because they don't know the position where they are in. So there's a lot to talk about. And I think that couples, you know, talk about things that are not serious, but also talk about the serious things. And if you are thinking of, you know, what is there to talk about? We're saying, talk about your money. I saw an advert on, I think it was you that pointed me to it.
What's that?
One advert on TV where they were talking about,
or something?
yes,
Like the M word.
The M word, people don't want to talk about.
Nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah. And then, you know, it's the money. So talk about it. And saying that, we have this money management class.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Coming up on the 6th and 7th of March. So that's a Friday evening, 7 p.m. And then a Saturday, I think Saturday, 6 p.m. Of March, we have a money management class. And one of the graces that God has given me and us as a couple is in terms of money management. We have seen small things grow into big things. But this money management class, we want to just deal with a small group of people. So if you sign up for it early, then you may fall into the bracket. I was saying to my team that I probably just want to have maybe 30 people. Also, I know some people were saying to me, are you sure, Pastor? There'll be more people are interested. I said, well, we'll just deal with the first group of people. So money management class, 6th and 7th, and basically to teach you practical ways on how and maybe you should come with your couple, with your spouse, because that could then trigger the things you would learn could trigger a conversation.
Well, I hope it doesn't lead to quarrel.
No, it won't be a quarrel. No. It won't be a quarrel because you'll be taught practical things that would help you, to see how whatever position where you are now, no matter how small, you can grow. How you can grow. And we have seen it in our lives. Yeah. We have seen how God is used that to transform us. I mean, we don't want to start going into the things that have happened. So, but we've seen that. And even with a few people, very tangible things, with a few people that I have worked with these practical steps, they've also seen that. So I think, people should come to that. I think the team has put out the Eventbrite link on the Facebook. So if you click that, you can straight away reach that. Be one of the first, because once we mask up the number, then won't be taking any more. So that's money management class. We just diverted into that from talking about what to talk about. Talk about the children upbringing. Talk about money. Talk about how your day went. Talk about your plans for the year. I mean, a new year has started. Have you sat down as a couple to plan what are we going to do this year? And not just what, because a lot of people talk about the what they are going to do. They don't talk about the how. What are we going to do and how are we going to do it? And then so when you both agree on how, then you can monitor each other on the how. You'll find that you would have something to always talk about. So that's very key. Let me read some comments. We have Christian Ahmed, Pastor Christian Ahmed from Nigeria. Hello, all the way from Warri, Nigeria. He said communication is very key. If you must take away frustration and tension in a home between couples, then you must communicate.
That's it.
That's true. If you must take away frustration and take away tension in a home, then you must communicate.
That's it. It's true, because most times you are expecting something. And because of that lack of receiving what you're expecting, you become frustrated. But how would your spouse know that you're expecting this thing if you don't speak about it? If you don't tell them, the way you done this thing, or I thought that you were going to do this, or I thought we were going to do this, or I thought our plan was this. But if you're not speaking about it, then you're obviously continually going to be disappointed, and which will now breed into resentment, which will now breed into and sometimes even what's the word, where you on resentment and things like that. So if you don't want to be in that place, then talk about it.
Talk about it, yeah. He went on to say, this is Pastor Christian Ahmed, went on to say, communication is also beautiful when couples learn to listen to themselves and pay attentive attention. Because sometimes you hear a spouse say, I communicated, but he or she did not hear. So there is need for attentive attention during communication. So really, in every communication, you shouldn't just approach it from the perspective of you saying something. You should also be willing to listen. And then concluded by saying, night one, Pastor, I'm enjoying this great talk. Sister Abby said, great topic. Sister Betta said, I think affirming your spouse's ideas or view is important, even if you have a different opinion. What do you think about that?
Oh, you can't be an oh yes member.
No.
But obviously encouraging.
Yeah, it depends on the idea she's putting forward. Even if it's an idea that you don't agree with, the way you communicate your disapproval of that idea is important.
Or the tweak that you think, have you thought of it in this way? Maybe this would be better.
Instead of just writing it off, maybe think, let your response be giving that idea a tweak. And tweaking it as opposed to just, doing this one. We're not doing this one. And just blowing it out of the equation. Please, all of you are watching, share this program on your pages so that we can reach more people. Tell us where you're watching from. I can see Tori Sheju, he said, couples should learn how to take advantage of couples workshops and any available marriage time. That said, that is how I and my husband learned about money management from Faith Miracle Church marriage getaway. So take advantage of it. So she's basically saying take advantage of workshops and seminars and retreat. For her, that's how herself and her husband, by attending Faith Miracle Church marriage getaway, they learned about money management and a lot of things that have become very helpful for her, for her home, and have strengthened her union. So maybe it's a way of saying to you, look out for what is happening. What is happening? I've told you about the money management class happening on the 6th and 7th of March. Go to Eventbrite, sign up for it. Tell your wife, tell your husband, we need to attend this thing. Let's see. It may be one small thing you learn that day, but it can help you enhance. She went further to say we have 2 coming up marriage meetings as well. Which is in the Faith Miracle Church. They have there's the South London branch having a marriage. What's it called? Intimacy on the 15th, Saturday 15th of February. It's also on Eventbrite. You can go up there, and then I think the North London branch has something coming up on the 14th of February and 15th, and it's called is it
Our Love Arise?
Our Love Arise. Is also on Eventbrite. So she told you, I wasn't a member of the church at that time, but I and my husband took advantage of it. Lack of knowledge will hold you down. So you don't have to be a member of the church to attend those things because it helps to enhance you. So communication is very, very key. And I think it's not something we can just wish away. We have to be given to it because it helps to strengthen us. And I think that's one of the blessed things we both share in our marriage. We actually do communicate. We talk. We talk about every and anything. I mean, my wife could literally be in a shop and she sees a bottle of maybe a smoothie, and she can call me. Oh, babe, I saw it. Do you think I should buy it? And I'm thinking, if you think it's good, you should buy it. But I don't just dismiss that, oh, babe, you don't need to ask me. No. If I sometimes she can video call me
Yeah.
And, you know, video call me and say, look at the bottle. He said he has kiwi and he has the spirulina and he has this and he has that. And we talk. You know,
about
so
any and everything.
exactly.
Yeah. And when my husband's not happy with me, yeah, because it does happen at times. So when he's not happy with me, he'll wait until it's a good time, and then he'll now tell me in the morning, babe, I want to speak with you later on today, okay? And I'll say, hey, my heart would not go. I would not go, oh my God, what did I do? And I'm thinking, oh, I didn't do anything. What did I do? The whole day I'm thinking, so babe, tell me, what is it now? What is it? Don't worry, we'll speak about it later. No, it's not bad. Okay. So don't worry. Sometimes it's actually not bad. I'm just like, overthinking things. And sometimes it's actually like, if he says, no, don't worry, we'll talk about it later. Then he'll now talk it, but he'll say it in such a nice way. He's telling me awful, but he'll say it in a nice way that I must listen, adjust myself, and we move on happily.
Yeah, no, because there's a way to talk to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a way to talk to people. You can't just...
Nice, very nice.
I can even see, I think Jubril is laughing. Even Aisha is laughing. They're probably thinking, oh, we don't pass up. Well, no, I don't. You can tell people off, but in a nice way. You don't have to be, you know what I mean? You're not trying to...
You're not trying to crush their
No,
spirit.
you're not trying to kill them. You're trying to help them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And help yourself, really.
Yeah.
Through helping them, you're
Exactly.
helping yourself.
So it's knowing what language to use and how to speak to them. I think it's very important. You're not trying to kill people. Some people are too brutal.
And I think some people as well, because they don't like conflict,
Yeah.
and they don't like wanting to tell the person off, because I'm just thinking now,
Yeah.
some people will just allow the person to continue. I'd rather not deal with this. Let them just continue.
No.
But
You have to tell them it's bad.
Yeah.
If somebody is doing something wrong,
Yeah.
you have to have the courage to tell them. Your objective of telling them,
Nice way.
yes, it's not to kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's to help them.
Yeah.
It's to help them. You know, you approach it, you speak to them in a nice way. I mean, it's the devil, somebody who has a deity, a demonic deity sitting in them. It's the only person you will speak to in a nice way about a rebuke. Yeah? And then they will flare up and then it becomes a quarrel. I read a few more. There are a lot of people who are laughing. I think, and some of them are people that knows me, actually. They know me, so I think they can relate with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Tina is saying, Tina from Ken, communicating and appreciating one another is key in any relationship. Awesome message, sir. Thank you. Beautiful. Few more people still laughing. Favored, loved is laughing. Moyoro is laughing. Jubril is saying, Mama will be going into soul searching, looking for where she has gone wrong.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, because when you stay in the morning, babes, I want to speak with you later about something.
Just before, well, as he's dressing up, as before he's about to leave, so he knows I cannot hold him. No, tell me, no, I'm in a rut. Let me later. Don't worry, later.
When I call, we'll talk about it.
Calculative.
Well, at least the formula is working.
Yeah, it's working.
We've got Agaku Sorai D, Eda Tesserai, one of the daughters.
Hello.
Yeah, she's actually solicitor, and she's put it. Oh, she's laughing like she said so sweet, and then she said, "You have always inspired me. You are a blessing to our generation." Amen. Thank you. These are some of the people who knew me from when I was, a child and grew up, among them. So nice to have you tune into the show today. Yeah. God bless you. Please all share it on your page, because really people need to talk and people need to communicate with each other. And we're living in a world today where we are occupied with a lot of gadgets, a lot of apps on our phone, And walk, even apart from gadget, walk. You walk in certain places where they give you a free phone, to use, and you think, oh, yeah, my work you gave me. But because they know that makes you to walk from home, and you are home and things are popping up, they say, oh, let me just respond to this, let me just respond to that. Yeah. So I think that we need to be deliberate about communicating with the people that really matter in our life, being our spouse and our family. Very important. Don't take for granted the fact that they are there. Talk to them now that you still have them. Talk to them, communicate with them. And I mean, we are zeroing in on talking with your spouse, but I would also like to add that, your family members, call them just to check how they're doing. Yeah. Don't wait until something goes wrong.
Tragic.
Yeah, tragic, and then just check on them. Your parents, your brothers, your sisters. But obviously, it's about talking with your spouse, but I just felt it's important to add that. We have Julie watching from Italy. We have Israel from Nigeria. We have Kesta, Itoto. Please tell us where you're watching from. We have Alet, who said, great topic, Pastor Moses and Pastor Chioma. God bless you richly. Amen. Tell us where you're watching from. Share the show on your page. Better say thank you, Pastor and Mrs. I think we need to start wrapping up because I think our is gone. So,
so thank you also for those that have been on YouTube. So we had Jeanette O'Neill.
A lot of people there.
As well. Pichu, thank you. And he shared it on Facebook as well. He says that he's got lots and lots of people, different groups he shared it to. Kane Day as well from Nigeria says, wonderful topic. You are doing really well. God bless you. Thank you ever so much.
Amen. So what were your final words for the people?
My final words is, just as you need to breathe, communication is a crucial part for you in your home, in your marriage, for everything to go smoothly and to go well. Choose your words as well, so you can tell somebody off, but in a nice way, and they'll be able to pick it up, see that this thing must be very serious for this person. And to be honest, because you love them so much,
be nice, be firm, but in a nice way, and choose your words.
Firm. It's not that
it's not like playing.
He's just pampering the thing, and
I'm firm.
But shooting bullets
in a nice way, with the right words that you can take it and you can still smile, and at the end of the conversation, you know that there's a need for you to make adjustment, and you still be happy to serve the person food. And the person will be happy to eat the food. It's not like you just set the whole house on fire and then the roof is crashing down.
And then you're walking.
And you're walking like yes,
I've done it.
I've done it.
I'm the one that demolished everything. Good. Good. What are you gooding about?
Exactly.
What are you happy about? The whole place is in pieces. Is it not you that needs to pick up the pieces?
Exactly. Then it may take years to
the carnage, the aftermath of the earthquake and the tsunami is too much.
It's too much. So you can shoot the bullets in a nice way. They will be received. The person will make adjustment. The both of you will be able to smile and laugh and not quarrel. You'll be able to eat, and the next minute, life can carry on. But not you come with a brutal attitude. No.
Bulldozer. You're ready to, everything must go flat. It's not working.
Somebody said, please give us example. My husband is watching with me now.
Example of the bullets.
Of the bullets?
I can't think. I don't know what it's like. Example.
We are trying to wrap up.
Download. Bullets.
I think she wants a situation where her husband will not have to talk to her in a nice way about any issue. So that it's not like bullets firing everywhere and shooting down. No, because I think basically is
practical.
be practical.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to, because you're still going to live in that house.
Yeah.
You are going to
You're
live.
still going to sleep in that same bed.
Yeah, you're still going to sleep in that same bed. Yeah.
That very night.
That very night. You want to be able to communicate to this person.
Yeah.
You know, basically that you disapprove of what they've done. There is a need for them to change. You want to be firm enough for them to know that you're serious about this thing and how it impacts. But at the same time, you don't want to crush them.
Yeah.
You don't want to destroy them. You don't want to kill their spirit.
Yeah.
You want to.
Yeah. Okay. So like usually my husband will start off with something like, I don't know. You start off with something like, you know, you're a very good woman. In fact, you know, God. You always start from praise and then you get to the point. You know, so you're praising the person so that at least they're hearing and they're realizing that it's not that they don't like me or they hate me or they're frustrated and they want out or anything. You know, it gives them that reassurance. Then you're now getting to the issue. Yeah. He said, but there's this area I've wondered to myself, you know, how it will change and why it's like this, or you know, he'll now get to how it makes him feel, you know, and what he thinks about it and where he thinks that
it can lead to.
It can potentially lead to
and how it can impact on
and how
the
it
whole
will
system.
impact on him, impact on the marriage, impact on the home. You know, so he paints the picture. It's like a drawer, an artist.
Yeah.
It starts off with I don't know how they do this artistry thing. I'm not the artist kind of. My mind is not like that. Some are blessed that way. But anyway, it starts off with the watercolor, you know, but then the detail of the of the strokes are now being defined. So the detail of what needs to change, how it imparts, where if it doesn't change, where it could go to, why it needs to change, how it makes him feel if it's done better. You know, it's the thing is clear. Your eyes will be very. If it's not clear in you, I don't know what went wrong. You know,
yeah,
I don't know what
the whole picture is painted.
Clear. The whole picture was totally painted. In fact, you can frame it. It was that clear. So you only needed to go to IKEA and buy a frame and put it in. I got it. I got the message. So you know, so it's that kind of thing. Sometimes, and that comes from communication.
Yes.
Having effective communication.
Yeah, being able to speak with each other is important.
If he's not able to be an effective communicator,
then frustration will build up, and then one day you just lash out.
Yeah, a lot of the lashing out, there's a lot behind it.
Yes, it's built up over time.
There's a lot behind.
Yeah.
Most lashings out and arguments, there's a lot behind it.
It's true.
Yeah.
All right, so Sister Arlette talk. Okay, that's Sister Helen, who used to be, who used to come with Sister Lubna.
Oh,
I remember her. Oh, God bless you. Thank you for watching.
I think 5 girls or so. If there's more added, let me know.
Jubri said the calm before the flogging.
Yeah.
Tenji, he said the calm before the flogging.
Okay.
You have Sister Tenji laughing and said, Pastor Chioma. Jubri said it's crystal clear. Yeah, like my wife said, you can go to IKEA and
Habitat
and buy the frame. Sister Star, she's laughing. She says, sounds like a therapy session.
I don't know.
And then Sister Tenji said,
communicating. And I think again is because we started off through communicating. We started off as friends, like genuine, you know, bona fide friends. So because we started off like that. You know, it helps us to be able to communicate and to talk and, you know that I'm not going to take it personal what you're saying and he's not going to take personal what I'm saying.
It's good.
I'm not saying it to belittle you or make you feel small. I'm saying it because we're trying to get somewhere. Let's get to this place better. But this excess baggage of this particular type of character is not going to help us.
Yeah.
So drop it.
Amen.
So,
well, people, it's been a great time. We have to wrap it up. We can go on and on, but we need to wrap up. Thank you for joining us today. So basically, we're saying your takeaway from this is you need to communicate. Communicate, talk, build it. It doesn't just happen. Be intentional about it. Walk towards it. Just start it today. And just talk. Two of you contribute. You find that communication actually may start small, but if it's something you sustain over a period of time, you find that it becomes effortless. You would always talk. This program, Talk with the Missus, actually resulted from the fact that we were talking. We just talk. So one day, you know, I think it was my wife who said, you know, babe, we talk a lot. We talk about everything. We're always chatting. And some of the things we talk about, serious things and all of that, could be helpful for people. So why don't we run the show? And that's how Talk with the Missus started. It's actually just a product of what we do at home and we felt would be of a help to a lot of people. And it has blessed many lives. As I travel around the world, I get a lot of comments about that. You know, again, our announcers will put out some of our upcoming events. I already talked to you about the money management class. I think you should go to Eventbrite and sign up for it. This Saturday is the 1st of February. So we have what we call prophetic entry service. If you are in London, make sure you attend. It's the first one for this year, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Thank God it's a Saturday. So you have no excuse not to be there.
And if you're not in London,
if you're not in London, then you can obviously tune in through our Facebook live streaming or YouTube. If you're in
London, be there live.
If you're in London, don't do live stream. Make sure you are there live. God knows you're in London and God knows you can make it there. And so he will be expecting you to be there live. He will touch those who are outside London through the live streaming because he knows that they can't. They couldn't make it. So 6 a.m. for the prophetic entry service. And I think there are some other announcements that will be coming up. We have a family class Sundays. It's the last Sunday of each month in February, March, and April. 3 months. The last Sunday of each of those months. Well, the announcers will give you all the details. Start the communication tonight. Start by talking about what you've just heard us talk about. Turn to your husband, turn to your wife, and say, come on, let's start talking. So what do you think? The best way to probably start is, what do you think about the show and the things they were talking about? And a full-on conversation can begin from there. Until next time we come your way on the Let's Talk About It show, we say have a blessed evening. God bless you.
Talk with the Missus show.
Oh, yeah, Talk with the Missus. Oh, I'm referring to a different show. Yeah.
Because we're
talking about it. So Talk with the Missus show. We'd like to say God bless you. Have a blessed evening and a blessed communication evening. Turn off the TV. Put the phone on communication flight mode. And talk to your spouse. Have a blessed night. Bye now.
Bye-bye.